I quit coffee. Was it worth it? Hello, welcome back or welcome to my channel. I am so glad that you are here. So, I quit coffee. Was it worth it? Let's find out. This video is for the people who are maybe considering quitting coffee, wondering if they should. I am here to give you my experience, what it was like for me, what it felt like, what I did to get off coffee, and what I'll plan to do moving forward. The conclusions that I came to, any benefits that I might have seen from being off coffee. I'm here to give you all the juicy details to help you figure out what you think might be best for you. Just give you a little bit of an example of things to consider even. So let's get into it. It can take anywhere from 2 to 10 days to go through your caffeine withdrawals. And I gotta say, I was expecting to just feel like total garbage, to be just a wreck and a monster even. I was expecting to feel really gross, and especially I've already experienced some coffee headaches some days when I didn't get my coffee in quick enough for whatever reason. And so I expected those coffee headaches to last for several days and be kind of miserable. So this month I wanted to experiment, just a little challenge to myself to go off coffee, see how I do with it, and see if that's something I'm even capable of doing. Because I have been drinking coffee. I started drinking coffee when I was 7 years old. My mom would let me have a small cup because it was something I was interested in, and I really liked it. And so every now and then she would let me have a small cup. And then since the age of 9, I started having coffee every day. And ever since then, I'm about to be 26 now, so that's like 15, 16, 17 years that I have been drinking coffee daily. So it's something that I really love and that I've had in my life and that I look forward to. That is kind of the only thing when it comes to a morning ritual that I do religiously, because other than that, I'm not very good at keeping with routines. And so my mornings are always going to look different. Sometimes I try and have those, those it girl mornings and try and do everything the right way. Those are so high maintenance, so horrible. Like, that's not what I want when I wake up in the morning. I take a little while to adjust to the day, and so I like having my quiet, delicious peace time with my warm cup of coffee. It sets the tone for the day, and if I don't have it, it's not going to be a very good day. And that's just how it is for me. So this month of October, I wanted to get off coffee, see if I could break that addiction that I knew I definitely had, and just test myself and see if my life was better without coffee, because I was one of those people wondering if I would feel better without coffee, if I would see benefits without coffee, and I just wanted to see overall if it was contributing to my health not being optimal. So Day 1, October 1st, I had hot water in the morning to kind of keep that part of my ritual going, having that warm drink in the morning, which was not too bad. And I went most of the day without having a headache. I think it was around 3:30 or 4 p.m. when I started having a coffee headache. And by 5 p.m., it was pretty bad and hard to even just move around without just feeling that horrible headache. And so my husband suggested that maybe I should just have a tiny bit, because I had already been wanting to wean off of the coffee, and I had had a hard time doing that the month of September, getting prepared for this. So I just had a small amount and diluted it with water, so it was very weak and it was not very much. And I drank part of that and it helped the headache go away. The next day, October 2nd, I did not have any coffee that whole entire day. I did not have any coffee headaches. And so that was pretty cool. The next day, no coffee headaches. I didn't have any more coffee headaches after that. And so that made it easy for me to not have the coffee because the headaches were the main thing I was worried about. And so I didn't have those problems after that. It was great. I decided to give it about 2 weeks of not really documenting much of what I was feeling, just to give me time to get through those withdrawals. So I wasn't judging that time based on how I felt, to get me through the withdrawals and just wait till I was out of the gate and see how my body felt after that. So by the end of the second week into the third week, I noticed there were no changes in my energy levels. I did not feel any better waking up in the morning. I did not fall asleep any easier. And in fact, I was also having electrolyte problems. So I was having trouble sleeping, more so than when I was drinking coffee every day. And I did not notice myself, I didn't notice my anxiety changing or anything, because those are things that coffee can affect. It can raise your stress levels, make you more anxious, especially if you're prone to anxiety, and it can disrupt sleep for some people. And so I did not notice having more energy, which is something some people talk about when they get off caffeine. I actually was feeling more fatigued and gross and just lifeless. I already was having a bland diet, so I was not really feeling like there was any excitement or anything to look forward to, and it just wasn't feeling worth it to me. I wasn't seeing any benefits, and if anything, I was seeing a lot of negatives to not having my coffee. One of them being, I'm someone who has a hard time drinking just water. I know, that's such a, first world problem, but I get bored so easily. And I've been drinking sparkling water and some that have flavors. This one is lemon, but it's got no carbs or any sugars or anything. It's just the flavor extract, which has been okay. It hasn't affected anything on this diet. And so I was just leaning more on having some sparkling water to give myself something a little different. And that was okay, but I still was not noticing any benefits from coffee. And some people say it depletes your minerals, but my minerals were depleted without the coffee. So I don't know how much I would agree to that. Maybe for some people it's that way, but I have a hard time agreeing with that based on the experience that I had. After those 2 weeks, I went a whole other week and was just really paying attention to how I felt. And like I said, I was low energy, I was not feeling good, and all I was wanting was some coffee. And I was like, that would help me finish this strict diet and get to the end of this strict diet by having just a little something that brings me joy. And so after thinking about it for a long time and weighing the pros and cons of if I continued going without coffee for the rest of this month, it didn't feel worth it to me to continue. And so I waited a long time. I waited a really long time before I even decided to try. I think it was the 22nd of October that I ended up having a little bit of coffee and just paid attention to how it made me feel. And maybe it's a little sad, but it did instantly make me feel better. It really did. I felt alive again. I felt like I had more energy, and it just brought me back to life. I felt like I was almost a zombie, or just kind of just, I don't know, floating through life, but not actually really living it and being in it. And just having a bit of coffee again made me feel alive. Now, I haven't been crazy indulgent. I haven't been having multiple cups a day like I was before. I've just done 1 cup a day in the morning, and some of those cups I haven't even finished. It was just nice to know it was there. I think that's an important data point for me to notice about myself, is that I have a hard time with restriction. I'm already not good at listening to people. I can be a good girl when I have to, but it's one of those, because it's forbidden, you become fixated on it. So just knowing that it's there and that I can have it already just makes me feel better, and I'm not in that mindset of obsessing over it or just feeling that nagging feeling of not being able to have it. That right there made a huge difference for me, and just being more energetic and more able to tackle my daily duties here at home has made a huge difference. And interacting with people, my brain has felt more awake and alive and like actually able to function, which has been a huge difference from how I felt the rest of this month. So I don't regret including coffee in this last week of my challenge this month at all. I don't. It turned out, when I was thinking about it, weighing the pros and cons and deciding whether I should continue the rest of the month without it, it just did not feel worth it to me. It's one of those things where it was like, well, on November 1st, I'm going to be having a big cup of coffee anyway. And what if it makes me totally obsess and go for the worst possible kind of cup of coffee I could have, just loaded with sugars and syrups, So it was just like, with how much I was thinking about it and wanting it, and just feeling like there was no reason to not have it anymore. I proved to myself that I could stop having it and wean off of it and get out of this addiction. That felt great to know that I can do that, and that it was actually easier than I expected it to be. And so that alone really gave me the information that I was seeking as I was going without the coffee as an experiment. So yes, I decided to have coffee and I felt better. I don't regret it. I was never planning to go without it forever anyway, and I gotta say, I felt worse without it. I felt more tired. My brain felt like not as sharp, and it just, living life without coffee is not worth it for me. And I haven't noticed any health benefits from not having coffee or caffeine. I'm not going to go crazy and have the huge amounts that I was having before, but just being able to have it is good enough for me, and having something other than water makes a huge difference and is helping me power through these last few days of this month on this restrictive diet. So that's where I'm at in terms of coffee. So just to recap, I did not find it worth it to be off of coffee. I did not notice any health benefits from not being on coffee or caffeine. And in my personal experience, going without coffee is not worth it. So if you have access to it, if it's something that you enjoy, have all the coffee you want. That's where I stand. It's like a hug in a cup, right? It's one of those things that brings some joy into your life and helps you get through every day, especially when you need to be doing a lot of things. Gives your brain a little bit of a boost, and definitely gives my mood a boost. I feel so much better just having that freedom, and I don't regret it at all. So that's where I stand. Coffee is life, and I'm loving it. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you found this insightful or interesting in any way, leave me a comment below, or just let me know if you have coffee and if you notice any differences without it. I'd love to know. And thank you so much for being here. I hope you got some information out of this, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.